Geopolitical pulse. Your name. Intro music fades in and out, upbeat, slightly mysterious. Welcome back to Geopolitical Pulse, the show that dives deep into the complex currents shaping our world. I'm your host, Your Name, and today we're tackling a scenario that, thankfully, is not a present-day reality, but one that carries significant historical weight and, frankly, makes many regional observers nervous. Thailand invades Cambodia. Now, let's be clear up front. There is no current invasion underway or imminent. This isn't breaking news. But the very phrase conjures up images of historical flashpoints, long-standing disputes, and the intricate, sometimes tense relationship between these two important Southeast Asian nations. For a solo podcast like this, exploring such a hypothetical, or perhaps a reimagined historical scenario with modern implications offers a fascinating lens through which to understand regional dynamics. So, let's dissect this. What are the historical underpinnings that make this scenario even conceivable? What would an invasion actually look like in the 21st century, and what would be its immediate and long-term consequences? To understand why Thailand invades Cambodia is a phrase that resonates, we have to talk about history, specifically the centuries-old rivalry and border disputes, most famously centered around the ancient temple of Preah Vihear. This magnificent 11th century Khmer temple sits atop a cliff in the Dangrek Mountains, right on the border between Thailand and Cambodia. For decades, both nations have claimed sovereignty over the temple and the surrounding land. In 1962, the International Court of Justice ruled that the temple itself belonged to Cambodia. However, the exact demarcation of the border in the temple's vicinity remained contentious, leading to a gray zone of overlapping claims. Fast forward to the late 2000s and early 2010s. The dispute flared up dramatically. In 2008, when Preah Vihear was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site under Cambodia's stewardship, a move Thailand initially opposed, tensions escalated. We saw troop buildups, rhetorical skirmishes, and, most alarmingly, several rounds of armed clashes between Thai and Cambodian forces in 2008, 2009, and especially in 2011. These weren't full-scale invasions by any stretch, but serious border skirmishes involving artillery, mortars, and small arms fire, resulting in fatalities on both sides and the displacement of thousands of civilians. These incidents, sometimes lasting for days, were a stark reminder that despite shared cultural heritage and ASEAN membership, deep-seated nationalistic sentiments and unresolved border issues could quickly devolve into conflict. It's these events that make the hypothetical invasion more than just a fanciful notion. It's a specter from recent memory. So, if we were to imagine such a scenario today, in 2024, what would a modern invasion look like, and what would be its immediate ramifications? Firstly, it's highly unlikely we'd see a swift, decisive, full-scale ground invasion aimed at regime change or total conquest. The world has moved on from that kind of warfare, especially in a region like Southeast Asia. Instead, a more plausible invasion would likely begin as a severe escalation of existing border disputes. Picture this: a heavily disputed area, perhaps near Preah Vihear or another of the still undemarcated sections of their 800-kilometer border, sees a rapid, forceful advance of one nation's troops into territory claimed by the other. This isn't just a skirmish, it's an intentional, tactical occupation of territory, perhaps a small village, a strategic hilltop, or a particular access road. The immediate fallout would be catastrophic for both nations and the region. 1. Humanitarian crisis. Lives lost, civilians displaced, villages destroyed. The human cost would be immense, creating immediate refugee flows and humanitarian aid challenges. 2. Economic devastation. Thailand and Cambodia are highly reliant on tourism and foreign investment. An armed conflict would instantly tank both. Supply chains would be disrupted, trade, particularly along their shared border, would cease. The economic shockwaves would be felt far beyond the immediate conflict zone. 3. Regional instability. This is where ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, faces its biggest test. A conflict between two of its members would shatter its credibility and the principle of non-interference. Other member states would be forced to pick sides or frantically mediate. 4. International condemnation. The United Nations, the United States, China, the European Union, all would swiftly condemn such an act. Sanctions, arms embargoes, and diplomatic isolation would quickly follow. No country wants to be seen as an aggressor in today's interconnected world. 5. Domestic turmoil. Both nations have their own internal political complexities. A war, even a limited one, could either rally nationalistic support or, more likely, destabilize governments, fuel anti-war protests, and exacerbate existing social divisions. But here's the crucial point. Despite the historical precedents and potential flashpoints, a full-blown invasion is highly improbable in the current geopolitical landscape. There are too many powerful deterrents at play. Firstly, ASEAN's role, imperfect as it may be, provides a framework for dialogue and dispute resolution. While it struggled during the 2011 clashes, the pressure from fellow members to de-escalate and negotiate would be immense. Secondly, the economic interdependence is a powerful disincentive. Neither Thailand nor Cambodia can afford a protracted conflict. Their economies are far too intertwined with the global market and reliant on peace and stability. Thirdly, international scrutiny is relentless. The age of easily hidden conflicts is largely over. Satellite imagery, social media, and international media attention would quickly expose any aggressive actions, leading to immediate global pressure. Finally, while Thailand's military is generally considered more powerful than Cambodia's, the Cambodian military has also modernized. Any conflict would be costly for both sides, not a walkover for either. The costs, both in lives and resources, would far outweigh any potential territorial gains. Ultimately, while the phrase Thailand invades Cambodia might conjure up images of historical battles, the reality of 21st century geopolitics, regional alliances, and global economic integration makes such a scenario profoundly unlikely. The lingering border disputes and historical grievances remain, yes, but the path to resolution now lies firmly in diplomacy, negotiation, and the shared understanding that peace is far more profitable than war for all involved. It's a testament to how much the world has changed and how, in many ways, the mechanisms for preventing large-scale interstate conflict in regions like Southeast Asia have matured, even if they're not always perfect. That's all for this episode of Geopolitical Pulse. I hope this exploration of a hypothetical but historically significant scenario has given you some food for thought. What do you think about the unresolved border issues in the region? Do you believe diplomacy is always enough? Let us know your thoughts. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show to help us reach more listeners. For Geopolitical Pulse, I'm your name. Thanks for listening.